Good Friday morning. Larry Sprinkle here along with Chris McKay on a start to the weekend. Tell you what, we start thinking about today. It's going to be one of those afternoons where everybody's going to remember, I think, this day. It's going to be a big-time weather system. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had this type of setup with some of the numbers that we're going to mention and also some of the classic terminology. We haven't said the word bow echo in a long time. Yeah, it's certainly a weather alert day, something that we'll use on WCNC Charlotte if there's ever a severe weather threat in the area. So it's a weather-aware day today. Look for the potential for strong and severe thunderstorms. Take a look at the other situation. Look at this right here. It's a foggy morning. That's our camera in Monroe. So we got some fog out there this morning and the potential for heavy storms this afternoon, damaging winds. I can't remember the last time I saw a 30% probability of strong and severe winds out there. I can't remember the last time I covered this much area. Yeah, and I think the easiest way to put this in perspective is picture if you have a group of thunderstorms. So say in this case, and then we're going to do rough math here, you have 3 thunderstorms. That 30% chances meaning that roughly one of those 3 thunderstorms could be producing wind gusts up to 58 plus miles per hour. I think that, Larry, you had a wind graphic earlier that was showing, I think just the outflow from these thunderstorms is probably going to push winds up to 35 to 45 miles per hour in general. Absolutely. But that is a wide area that this is covering. And it covers even the mountains across the Piedmont, the upstate, and we'll take a look at it and show you the future cast. The morning's okay. As we get towards 2 o'clock, the storms start to move into the foothills and the mountains. By, say, 3, 4 o'clock, they're moving into our area, Morganton, all the way to the Virginia border. And then look at that graphic right there. The bow echo, that's what we talk about when we talk about severe thunderstorms. Yeah, so what's happening right here is notice how it bows out. Like, so stopping here from Wadesboro, that's like really pretty much the pinnacle. Picture like a bow and arrow. So that shows that the winds are so strong within the system, they're driving that part of the thunderstorm ahead of the others. Meanwhile, near Albemarle, where it starts to kink back and just west of Asheboro, those little kinks is where you can have spin-up tornadoes. So it's kind of a double-edged sword as far as the threats go. And here's that wind graphic. Yeah, take a look at that right there. Now, these, of course, are estimated. They're futurecast wind gusts, but you can see around Concord, from Charlotte to Concord, we're talking about winds 35 to 45 mile per hour gust. Those are some strong storms right there. And you go just a little bit southeast of Concord. That's right there. That's that line. That's that bow echo right there. Yep, think about it. Yeah, that's got winds well over 58 miles an hour. Yeah, and a lot of times it'll be very isolated too, so you can have a little burst of wind along that line. I think this is going to be one of those scenarios that it's going to be the first couple of minutes once the frontal edge of that system rolls through. That's where you really have to be weather aware, because it could pack a quick punch, quick spin up tornado in a matter of seconds to a couple minutes. And when you see a 5% probability that covers Charlotte all the way up to Statesville over towards the mountains, haven't seen one of that widespread an area with a 5% probability of a tornado within 25 miles of any point on that map. Yeah, and it's a crazy setup, too. And you're probably wondering what's going on here. The reason why you have a 10% north of Raleigh is because of a warm front. That warm front is going to allow for a little bit extra kick, where you have winds coming from the southwest, north of the warm front that comes from the northeast. Meanwhile, you have just the driving winds coming from the due west. That is creating what we call wind shear. When the twist of the atmosphere is present, and then you have the thunderstorms driving into it, that's where you have the chance for tornadoes, and that's where you have that such complicated map. It's only really the South Carolina coast and around Wilmington that has a chance of at least avoiding a tornadic storm. I think some of these thunderstorms could themselves be a mesocyclone. There could be some of those with rotation within the thunderstorm itself. So let's talk about 3 o'clock. From 3 to 6, it's really that time frame of some of the most severe weather in the area. And you can see the percentages go from 50 up to 90% around 5 o'clock. So the commute home today is really going to be dangerous. I would say if you could avoid doing that at that time, if you are going to be driving, please slow down and be aware. And always, have our weather app, or if you can, watch us. All of social media platforms will let you know what's going on this afternoon. Yeah, this is not going to be a day that I think that you're waiting. When's the storm's going to come? When's the storm's going to come? It's really a finite window from about the mid-afternoon to early evening. I think 3 to 7, 3 to 8 is a good time frame. But again, it's that first
worst line. So if all of a sudden it's just coming down some sheets, the winds are going crazy, that's the worst of the storm in your area. After that, the rain should get lighter and lighter on the backside.
What we're going to see is we're going to see thunderstorms with a lot of very heavy rain. Intense lightning, hail is going to be, when you see hail, if it gets up to maybe quarter to golf ball size, that is a really severe thunderstorm right there. And a lot of loud crowded ground lightning. If we get any sun today, that's going to really fill up the atmosphere. And we pray that it doesn't become sunny, because I think that makes it even worse.
Yeah, most days you're like, oh, no, I want sun. No, you want it to be gray and gloomy, because the more sun you see, the more unstable it's going to be. But let's also talk a little bit more about hail. So we mentioned that there is a slight chance for hail. I think this is a little bit further west. When storms are individual all together, that's going to allow them to get a little bit higher, produce some hail like what we saw on Wednesday. But I think this is really going to be a straight line wind event. But let's take you to school. What is a spin-up tornado? This is a fancy term, QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. I promise not to say that again. They move fast. They're very short-lived, and they're most common for the tornadoes that we see around the area, and it's all about the kinks. So let's bring you back to this graphic. It's at this point when you see scattered storms to the west, that's where I think you have a better hail potential. Could even be an isolated tornado if they turn into supercells. But notice this, how it turns into a line. 5 o'clock, 5:30. 6 o'clock. There's that bow echo that we showed you again. So this is just a classic bow echo QLCS setup with spin-up tornadoes. So I think we could see multiple severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. Also, we're going to be seeing just this classic setup. This is what a bow echo does, but it's the bookends, the top of that, where you could have those quick spin-up tornadoes. Those usually are an EF0, EF1. So one of those severe weather days that really anything could be thrown at you. So just be safe.
And we want to remind everybody, a severe thunderstorm can do as much damage as an F0, F1 tornado. You can have winds up to 100 miles per hour. So if we give a severe thunderstorm warning, take cover. There's going to be a lot of lightning. You mentioned the potential for hail, and obviously some very high winds. We'll be here throughout the day.
Yes, you will.
Chris will be here at midday, and then the whole weather team this afternoon along with Brad Panovich. So be aware, stay weather aware, and we'll be here to let you know what's going on. Have a great weekend. We'll also see you Monday morning, dark and early, 4:30.
And stay safe.